So one reason I want to make this video is because there are a lot of people that that their biggest fear is to tell their parents that they're transgender. It's something that they think like, how am I going to tell them and how are they going to react? What are some of your thoughts about that as a parent? Because you are my mom. That's who I'm talking to.
I have never, I'm not a parent that says, okay, so what did I do wrong that I have a child like that?
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's
not
crazy.
Personal. It is, yeah. And that's like you were saying, the way children are just these people that are in your lives. It's the same. Like I can't think to myself like, why aren't you this kind of mom, or why don't you do this, or why can't you do that, or why can't you be this other person, because I also don't have that control over you. And it's this thing that we're both just these people in our lives, and what we can do is choose to love and support each other.
Exactly.
Tell me some other stories of things that you have to do as a parent, like again interacting with these other people, because one thing that my mom has done is you've had to tell relatives that I don't see as often. You've had to tell your family and things like that. What is that like for you? Did you have stress about having that role?
Do you know, I look at people and I realize in our own family there are some people who are very open and I don't have any problem telling them, but there are some people who are very phobic. And for them, I think it's very hard to accept. And so I have come across basically that people were quite surprised, but they were very understanding, and they said, in retrospect, yes, she has always been a little boy, and they were not really very surprised. But what makes me angry is when people say, oh, what you must go through, having a child like that. I mean, how do you feel? And I say, I have not gone through a lot. My poor child has.
Yeah.
And it's the world we live in, because you wonder, who do I tell and who don't I tell? And just recently I was referring to somebody, yes, my son, who used to be my daughter, and somebody looked at me knowing you all her life and said, you must be kidding. And I said, no, I'm not. She said, how come you never said a word? And I said, why would I? I mean, would I go out in the world and say, okay, attention, everybody, so my daughter is now a son, and I want you all to know that.
I'm having a press conference.
Yes, and I say it along as it comes, and I have been very surprised of how wonderful people have reacted.
Yeah.
And it's probably I'm hanging out with very good people.
That could be.
But I feel, as a mother, I feel that basically when you really have problems with parents, it's usually the people that have a low self-confidence. They are totally thrown out of their concept because they don't know how to deal with it. And I think that most people that I relate to are pretty much down to earth. And they say, why, that's very good.
Yeah.
And they take it for what it is. Or they say, oh, do you have a picture?
Cool.
Yes.
That's nice, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I tell you one funny story. That within our family, but, long distance family, there is a couple and they have two sons, and the oldest son is gay. And I was really surprised when the mother said to me, I had always the feeling that he was gay, and today I'm so happy he is gay and not transgender.
That's funny. Did she say that after you told about me?
Yeah, we were talking. And she said that, and I said, what difference does it make? And she said, why, I just thought it's a lot easier for my son to be gay than having to, change his whole life and everything.
That's true.
And I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, that is funny. Here's a question.
Yes.
How do you feel, First, I will say this. My dad is so good at thinking about me as his son and as a man. I mean, he has never had any problem making the switch so fast and so smooth. And that's really cool. And it seems like, you know, you also don't have a big problem thinking of me as your son.
No, I don't at all.
Yeah.
I'm very happy,
Yeah.
you know, because for us it has not been very stressful or very different.
And that probably makes a difference that you two have each other's support. Because what if one of you was really good about it and then the other one was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Then that would be hard. That would be a strain on your relationship. And that, as a kid, would be hard because you would feel responsible for this stress that you're causing your parents.
I think we're very fortunate as a family that we do have open communication channels.
Yeah. Well, what advice would you give to those children out there who are having such difficulties with their parents?
I would say to the children that, you know, your parents are human beings and we are all different. And some of us are more acceptant than others. And I would say, you know, be always straightforward, be honest, but don't be too shocked if your parents really react strongly to it. Because if you feel that your parents love you, and you love your parents, you know, for some parents it will take time to digest that you are different from what they expected. And I think that we have that as people in our lives, we always have high expectations and we kind of assume that everybody else has the same expectations we have. And we have to learn. I find you're a grown-up person when you realize that your own expectations are not everybody else's.
Yeah.
That in the whole matter, self-confidence plays a big, big role for either gender.
Yeah.
For the parents as well as the children. Because I think as a child, if you are accepted and if you are loved and if you really kind of love yourself and people perceive you as that, you won't have many problems.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you feel very insecure and you think, should I, shouldn't I, what do I do, should I tell them, should I let them know, you know, you go through so terrible, frustrating, and it's hurtful times.
Yeah, it's very lonely if you keep it all in there.
That's right.
In here. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, for parents, I think it's very important, no matter who the children are, to listen to their children.
If you could say anything to parents right now, just a very short sort of, I don't know, piece of advice or a feeling, what would you share?
To parents, I would say, you put your children into the world. I hope you love them. I hope you accept them. I hope you raise them into good people. And I hope that you always see them as individuals, never clip their wings, and let them fly when they are ready. That's it. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That parents should look upon their children.
Because that keeps you connected forever, really.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I think these types of conversations are really healing and helpful. And it took me a long time to be able to get to this place where I'm comfortable talking about it, and probably for you too. So it really takes time sometimes, but it's totally worth it.